It's the Milo Show. We're here inside Ant Hall, across the street from historic Planet Ant Theater, and we're opening our episode with a performance by a band called Assembly of Nerds, and they're playing a song called Pinched.
Am I awake? Is this a dream? If I'm asleep, what does this mean? I can fly across the screen, shooting birds with laser beams. Give me a camera, apostrophe. I'm skipping stones across the sea. Under my saddle, a killer bee. My legs are bent across the knee. Keep your conscience clean, or it attacks you while you sleep. Please eat my warning, or you'll get pinched in your dreams. The same yellow bee stuck his finger inside of me. Out of my mouth, a giant scream. My face swells up from the sting. Keep your conscience clean, or it attacks you while you sleep. Please eat my warning, or you'll get pinched in your dream. Dreaming and screaming. Oh, dreaming and screaming. Oh, keep your conscience clean, or it attacks you while you sleep. Please eat my warning, or you'll get pinched in your dreams. Keep your conscience clean, or it attacks you while you sleep. Please eat my warning, or you'll get pinched in your dream. Cut.
Hi, Ryan.
How's it going, Milo?
It's great. Welcome to the Milo Show. My name's Jeff. I'm your host. This is episode 17, and I'm starting with a chat with Ryan. Ryan Henry Cox has been on the show before. He was talking about music. We might have you talk about music again.
That's fine.
He is a musician, recording artist. You might know him from a band called The Good Things. But he's here, excitingly, to first talk about how he's running for governor of Michigan.
That I am.
In 15 years, I've been covering the music scene. I've never heard of any artist saying, I'm going to run for governor.
Yeah, I don't think that's kind of a common thing.
No. So it's June. You're campaign is going to start revving up. Tell us why you wanted to do it. Tell us, are you going to be on the ballot? Tell us.
Well, the ballot's the trick.
Okay.
Because the way things work for independents, it's kind of stacked against us.
He's going to be an independent.
I'm going to be an independent.
All
Yeah,
right.
the whole idea is the compromise candidate, middle of the hallway between the two sides, as it were. Well, even though it seems to be dividing into more sides now, you know,
Right.
all the Democrats and the Republicans do seem to be kind of fracturing a little bit.
It's
a lot of different
chaotic
perspectives.
political climate to be entering.
It is. It's an interesting situation, but. I mean, that's. I think that's why a lot of people like me across the country are starting to pop out of the woodwork. They want to give a different perspective. They want to handle politics differently. And they want to see some change because we always, every year, or every campaign year at least, everybody's talking about change. We are change. We'll need change. We must have change. But we don't seem to get any change. We get all excited about it, and then the standards come back.
Nothing gets fixed. Nothing gets solved.
Well, they start to solve things, but we have this pendulum. You
Yeah.
know, the pendulum swings back and forth between the conservative and the liberal, who's in control. So every time we take 2 steps forward, we take a step back, and maybe 2 steps back sometimes. And that's a big problem because then we're never actually seeing that change that we get promised every single time we have a campaign.
Right. Candidates, it seems, have to sell themselves.
Candidates
They
do have to sell themselves.
Something they want to sell, their platform.
Yes.
You have been focusing on this idea of figuring out how to fix everything that's bugging us.
Yeah, well, it's a big generalized idea here because there are so many issues. So obviously, I have to prioritize what I think is going to cause the biggest positive effects to the society as a whole. Because the idea here for me. The big analogy I like to use is clocks. You know, the idea is that if you have a clock, obviously you want your clock to operate.
Right.
The clock's only going to operate if all the gears are taken care of. You know,
Right.
you have a broken gear, you have a rusty gear, you have something stuck in the works, and the clock's going to stop functioning. And we have to look at our society as the clock, and we have to look at the individuals that collectively make our society the gears. And if we don't take care of the gears, then the society, or the clock in this case, isn't going to function properly. We're not going to get the results of the system that we're all looking for. And the reason that we have a society is to protect ourselves, to be able to pursue happiness, to be able to feel like we actually have a chance in the world rather than the darkness of the wilderness and caves that we came from a
Sure.
long time ago.
Sure.
So why would we have a society where we're dividing each other when we have so many fundamentals that we all need to deal with? We need to be able to look out for our children and continue the generations. We have to make sure that we have security for ourselves and for those around us and for the institutions that we hold dear. And we have to take care of our health. We have to be able to survive here. We have to be able to be fed. We have to have health care. We have to have a place to live. These are fundamentals for everybody if you're a human. It doesn't matter what side you're on. So let's isolate those individually and deal with those first because that's the common ground that we can all agree on. So that's why I'm the compromise candidate because I just want to I want to shut up and listen. I don't want to tell you what needs to be done. I want to hear what you want, what results that you want, and then figure out how to adjust the system to actually have a high probability of achieving those results.
So you're not coming in saying, this, and this need to be fixed, and I'm the man to fix them.
No. There's many people that could fix them.
You want to
I'm
meet
just willing
people and ask what they think.
Absolutely. I don't have
And
any
figure out how
traditional
to solve it.
advisors. I don't want somebody telling me, some advisor who I'm paying to tell me what they think the people want. I want the people to tell me what they want. And that's why I only meet with individuals of our society because those are the people that are dealing with the policies that we put in place. I don't have any ulterior motives here. I want to help people. That's what I've dedicated my life to. I may not be successful in this. In fact, I probably won't be as far as the traditional way of thinking, which is to win, like it's a game.
Right.
And that's not my point. My
Even
point
Jill
is...
Stein wanted to win.
Exactly. Winning is one avenue for being able to put these policies in place, or at least encouraging them.
Okay.
But there's also the spectacle of a 30-year-old who just became old enough to even run for governor in our state. The spectacle of somebody who's out of the ordinary, who doesn't have the backing of the political parties, who is not. I'm not beholden to any political party or any corporation.
Right.
I'm beholden to the individuals that I know in this world and the individuals that I'm going to meet along the way and the problems that they have. Because a lot of those plague me, they plague you, camera person, and all the people that are hopefully watching this.
Hopefully.
But the point here is that if somebody doesn't actually listen to the individuals and the very specific problems that they have, because usually we hear people talk about these general, or politicians, these generalized issues. We have to deal with healthcare. Okay, but what about the individual, small, specific issues that somebody, their life is being destroyed over it, the stress of trying to solve these things, and they fall through the cracks. We have to solve the systems in order to not have anybody be falling through these cracks, whether it be the education system, whether it be healthcare, whether it be people trying to run a small business, whether it just be doing your taxes. I mean, look at the way the tax system works for freelancers.
Don't get me started.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if we don't address those issues as well as the bigger generalized systems, then people are going to continue struggling. And that's not fair. That's not the point of having society. We're not supposed to just have a small group of people being successful. We're supposed to be looking out for each other. We got to have the clock functioning.
My impulse is to say, you excite me as a candidate because you don't sound like a politician. But
No,
we've
definitely
heard that
don't.
before for candidates. Excitement builds around them because they're radical, and not radical, but
You could, to some degree,
you're kind of radical.
Only because of the average.
But the game is
politician.
rigged.
It sure is. Well, perfect example of as an independent.
Yeah.
If I want to get on the ballot, this is
Yeah.
going to be very difficult. I mean, I am technically running. I was approved by the Bureau of Elections in Michigan, so I am running for governor.
Right.
But the idea here is if I'm a Democrat and I have Democrat backing, or I'm running as a Republican, one of the big parties, I only need to get 15,000 signatures. Now, it's stacked against me because I don't have all the support of the gigantic network of the Democrats or the Republicans. They have to get 15,000 signatures. It's not hard for them. Whereas I have to get 30,000. I have no network in order to build on that. So as you can see, the way it's been structured by politicians is to prevent people like me from showing up and trying to shake up the system a little bit.
Actually change something.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's going to always be Democrats and Republicans. We see even the bigger independent parties, which we call minor parties, they struggle to get on ballots.
Right.
They do, absolutely.
Right.
But they have great ideas.
Right.
A lot of them do. Of course, a lot of them may be lying to us.
You might want to use all parties.
I might, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, so far my support is split between conservatives and liberals, or people who lean towards one side of the aisle more than the other. But generally
Maybe some
speaking,
green ideas, maybe some libertarian ideas.
Absolutely. We have to
Maybe
listen.
some Romulan ideas.
Maybe. I'm going to be publishing reports that I write, so I know what I'm talking about, or at least you know exactly what I think I'm talking about, and you hear it in my words, or you read it in my words, and you are able to take a look at the exact way that I want to make changes here, and you are able to criticize me for that, so maybe I make new drafts on it. And why candidates don't tend to publish these very specific things is because other candidates will steal it. If
And you're okay if someone does.
Exactly. Like I said, actually winning here is not the primary idea. It's drawing attention to these policies these policy changes in order to gain support for them, not necessarily for me. Becoming the governor would be one way that I would have the power to help enact these things and put a lot of pressure on Congress.
Isn't that exciting to say out loud?
It is. But you know what? If another candidate who's more likely to win sees some of my policies and says, "Wow, that's a good idea. That seems that's going to achieve a lot of the goals that my base wants to see achieved, and it seems like highly probable results will come out of these adjustments." Well, then fantastic. They can have it. They can go win the governor. This gubernatorial election.
Gubernatorial.
Yeah, I love that word. I don't care how the policies get enacted. The point is that things need to be fixed. I have some ideas on ways that they can be fixed, and if we can get them adjusted and actually put into place, I don't care if it's me doing it or if it's you doing it or if it's you doing it. I don't care. I just want to see people live better lives and have the potential to, because right now there are so many restrictions and limitations from the promises that we've been given by previous politicians because the policies don't usually work.
Ryan Henry Cox, 2018 gubernatorial candidate for Michigan, not only a dad and a teacher and a soccer coach and a gubernatorial candidate.
Gubernatorial.
But also, you're working on a new album. You should mention.
I am
that
working
too,
on a
as
new
the good
album.
things.
As the good things. Yeah, I'm the governerd. Yeah, of course. There's my pocket protector. I'm a
Mention
true
that.
nerd.
You are the governor.
Yeah, thegovernerd.com.
Hashtag. Ryan Henry Cox. Gears, clocks, time for change.
Time for change. That's a good one.
Poster.
I want to hear Jeff say gubernatorial again.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial.
Up next on the Milo Show, the Johnny O Band is playing a song called God or Dad. This here's Pete. All right, back on the Milo Show. Kevin Eckert and Mike Burridge are here to talk about Detroit Comics Party and just talk about Comics Party in general, comics with an X. You guys have a big show coming up June 17th.
June 17th.
Indeed.
Independent Comic Convention. What is it? It's going to be at City Club. You're going to have a lot of interesting artists there. What is going to happen? What is happening?
It's going to be as much mayhem as possible. Like, we've got, like, total, like, geometric on the grid. We can fit 50 banquet tables in there, but we're going to end up having, like, 100 artists coming from all the Midwest and battling for tables and showing their work. And we're going to have performers of different types throughout the daytime, and then it'll degenerate into a massive rave in the nighttime.
This is going to be an all-day thing. It starts at like
super
11 a.m.
all-day.
People start loading in. You open the doors at 12.
Then there'll be 8 hours of comic sales, so you can browse around, walk around, buy stuff, watch some performances. Then Chris Weigel, ultimate performance artist, will be there, emceeing the evening.
What does he do?
He does a lot of experimental videos. Like he does a lot of videos where he can just freestyle for 1,000 years without ever stopping. So he'll do something where he'll just be yelling into the camera for 30 minutes straight on some topic.
So, Mom, we're going. Talk more about your guys' collaboration and what you do and when you got started.
Sure. So I think you and I, how long has it been? Like 8
It must
years
be 8.
now,
We've been
probably?
saying 7 years for a really long time, so it's
Yeah.
got to be 8 by
Yeah,
now.
it's probably
This
at
is
least
the 8th
8.
anniversary is today, I think, right?
I think so.
Sounds good
Sure.
enough.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but-
what do you guys do?
We make comics and make books and try to tell stories that are where we get to see ourselves represented on paper, which rarely ever happens because everything's too plain or too boring. You know, you look at a Spider-Man or X-Man, I don't have any relation to that because my life isn't that type of adventure.
Right.
And then you look at autobio stuff, like indie small press things, and it's this kind of bland telling of, you know, it might be like super intimate to them, but
Right.
to me it kind of falls flat just because the feelings that I have, which are intense and uncontrollable, generally I don't get to see represented in any form of media. So then we're telling our stories, and they take many forms.
Yeah, and also, you know, like, since we don't see a lot of ourselves in other work, like, to try to also be the group that is welcoming to outsiders and, you know, really out there weird, you know, brain damage type of
Freaks
artwork.
welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So
But
to, you know, also publish that and encourage that. That's part of the show too. Is like
Right.
we're trying to get as many different people, you know, especially people who wouldn't normally do any art fair or anything like that at all.
But you guys know your stuff. You guys know your video production. You guys know your publishing. You're in the game now. You guys have this down.
We practice a lot, you
There
know,
you go.
and I think I see a lot of like people who are like a lot of people who like want to be graphic designers. They're not really graphic designers. They're people who have installed Photoshop.
Yeah, they got
You
the
know.
software.
Or people who want to make comics, but they're not really like loving it and living it. They're just people who like, I had an idea, and now my entrepreneurial business is to hire an artist to like
Right.
flesh out my idea, and a bindery company to make it look like Marvel production.
Because that all
values.
sounds hard. I would be intimidated. I would probably hire someone, have them do it for me.
We enjoy all of those things,
Yeah.
though.
And
Like,
it's-
we enjoy all the binding and the printing and the layouts and the making the covers and choosing weird materials and creating something that doesn't look like a book that you could not get this book printed anywhere except
Right.
for by us, maybe.
I guess tell us a little bit more about this party. This is the first kind of thing on a scale like this that you have done as Detroit Comics Party, and you're going to be inside City Club, Leland City Club.
That's right. That was our
Downtown.
first mistake.
Your first mistake. And, you know, I'm really enticed by the website. You're just saying that almost anything could happen.
Yeah, so there's the dance floor, which is the normal club area. That's going to have comic sales during the day. Then there's the hallway
Booths
with
and
the
stuff
bar.
with
Yep.
artists and what have you, and meet and greets. And
Yep, and then there's the hallway with the bar in it, which is normally open too. There'll be a couple tables in there, and then Chris Weigel will be in there kind of emceeing from that little area where sometimes they have another band playing. And then they've also opened up the gigantic ballroom, which is not often used for events. So it's the ballroom is pretty much how it looked like almost 100 years ago.
After the atomic blast.
After the atomic blast.
so it's probably haunted.
But real good plaster work. Yeah.
Okay.
The stuff that hasn't fallen onto someone's head.
Someone says to you, "Okay, that sounds like a good idea." Like City Club's
No
like,
one
okay,
has said that to
yes,
us.
You should. You can do this.
No one has said that to us at all. But, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's representative of our whole outlook on producing media, where City Club and its bombed out ballroom is not the first place you'd think of having a fairly serious independent publishing trade show.
Certainly.
Just like to make a book like we make a book, that's you couldn't hire somebody to do this unless you were hiring us to do it. We don't feel limited by the fact that nobody else has done it that way before. And that's the way that we become liberated, that we're going to make our event as strange as we want it and as free and wild as we want it, just like we're going to make our work in the exact way that we want it. And we're not limited by what the bindery company says, or you can't have a staple that's that fat and you can't have just one. You need two little staples. You can't have one fat staple.
Or there's no freight elevator to bring the tables up to the second floor, and there's black mold everywhere.
Right, we're gonna get a gas mask and carry them.
Right.
We have to do it ourselves. Was the centerpiece of punk rock, and punk rock begat all the rave culture and all those different DIY cultural facets.
Sure.
Are where we're coming from.
I feel like that was going to be the answer to my next question. What influenced you to get into this? And it sounds like it might have come from that punk rock ethos, from that underground movement.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think a lot of people end up with that outlook, whether it's from that culture or just by necessity. It's like you don't know anybody who does the thing you want to do, so you make it up yourself.
Sure, but you get into your basement and you work and work. I don't know if you're in a basement. You work and work and staple in your basement. And there's got to be that devil on your shoulder that says, you should make a Spider-Man so you can get popular and more people will like you. And that guy's never on your shoulder.
Absolutely
Spider-Man's.
not. I should be able to get
That would be
popular
terrible.
and move units and have it be a business just on the value of the work that we're creating. And the value of our work is that we're steadfastly not compromising at all, ever.
That's why I have you on the show here. And I admire that. End of the day, when you're in your basement, back in that basement, working, what's most fulfilling about the things that you do? What keeps you doing it? Why are you addicted to this?
Oh man, I don't know if it's like a juvenile anti-rules kind of feeling, but I think that's a little part of it is to be able to do exactly what you want to do and not have to change it to meet an editor's whims or whatever
Defiant
it happens
art.
to be, just to
Almost like
make
graffiti.
to make exactly what you want to make.
Mike, thanks for being on my show.
Thanks for having
Kevin,
us.
thanks for being on my show.
We got some hell money for you here too.
This is hell money?
Yeah, you burn it and it goes to your ancestors in the afterlife.
Well,
It's for good luck.
I certainly don't want to start a fire in Ant Hall since it just opened. But maybe over the credits. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Woo!
Great. Hey, up next on the Milo Show, it's the Dropout here performing new music. We're excited.
I only do first takes.
Just a game. The days are just a name. Memories were on repeat. Take you by your thunder, and everything
Yeah, dog. I'm ready, dog.
Oh, so that's how it works.
Yeah, just hold it like this way.
Yeah, okay.
Like maybe choo-choo nuts. Still on flaming. Look at that. That's good. Good percent.